Imagine walking into a medieval doctor's chamber with a pounding headache, only to find him holding up your urine in a glass flask, squinting at it like fine wine. Forget stethoscopes or x-rays, your bladder was the medieval MRI. From color charts to tasting tests, physicians believed every drop of urine whispered the secrets of your soul. By the end of this story, you'll realize that pee science wasn't just a joke, it was deadly serious, and it might just make you rethink that modern urine test at your local clinic. The Golden Gospel of Diagnosis. Welcome to the bizarre cathedral of medieval medicine, where urine wasn't wasted, it was gospel. Doctors treated it like sacred scripture, and the holy text came in a rainbow of shades. Physicians carried elaborate urine wheels, beautifully painted charts that matched every imaginable tint of yellow, red, green, or even black to a disease. Pale and clear, maybe too much water in your body. Deep gold? Congratulations, you're healthy. But if your sample was dark, murky, or God forbid tinged with green, that meant death was already knocking. The chamber pot was a confessional, and the doctor the priest, interpreting divine messages swirling in glass. Patients clung to the ritual, convinced their destiny could be read in liquid form. And the physicians? They leaned into it, squinting into flasks with all the seriousness of a NASA scientist staring at a rocket launch. The irony, it wasn't medicine at all, it was medieval improv, performed with a straight face. Still, in a world without microscopes or germ theory, what else could you trust? Other than the golden gospel of your bladder, the pee-tasting profession, and if staring at it wasn't enough, they drank it. Yes, medieval doctors went full sommelier with your sample. A physician might swirl a flask, hold it up to the light, inhale deeply, then dip a finger in and taste. Sweet notes? That meant diabetes. Bitter tang, the liver's rotting. Too salty? Blame the kidneys. In their minds, this wasn't barbaric. It was cutting-edge science, a sip of enlightenment straight from the bladder. But here's the kicker. Often, the master physician didn't even taste it himself. He had apprentices for that. Imagine being a young student of medicine, hoping to learn the secrets of the human body, and instead spending your days sipping warm medieval vintage. Forget lectures. You were basically a pee barista. And while the ritual sounds absurd, to medieval minds it made perfect sense. They believed the body's hidden illnesses revealed themselves in taste before they ever showed symptoms. The dark humor, they weren't entirely wrong. Modern labs still test sweetness to detect diabetes. The only difference is today, we let machines do the tasting. Back then, some poor intern had to swallow your diagnosis. Bottled pride, the urine flask craze. In the Middle Ages, nothing screamed, "I'm a doctor," like strutting around with a flask of pee. Forget diplomas on the wall, your credentials were literally sloshing in your hand. These glass flasks, called maculae, became the ultimate badge of medical authority. They were blown from clear glass so that every hue, from golden sunshine to swamp green, could be proudly displayed. Artists even carved them into tombstones and paintings. A medieval doctor without his flask, that was like Batman without his cape. But it wasn't just doctors showing them off. Patients were expected to lug their samples through town, tucked under their arm or dangling in a pouch, all the way to the physician's door. Picture a bustling medieval marketplace of fishmongers yelling, blacksmiths hammering, and in between, a parade of villagers clutching bottles of warm urine like grotesque lunchboxes. The smell alone must have been apocalyptic. And here's the bitter punchline. Half the time, the doctor didn't even look at your pee. He'd glance at the color, match it to his urine wheel, and call it a day. Congratulations, you just risked public humiliation for a glorified guess. Astrology in a chamber pot. As if diagnosing by color and taste wasn't ridiculous enough, some medieval doctors decided to add a cosmic twist. Enter astrological uroscopy, the fine art of holding your urine up to the heavens and consulting the stars. That's right, your bladder wasn't just a medical file, it was a zodiac chart in liquid form. Mars in opposition, clearly blood in the bladder, Venus on the rise, expect fertility issues, Saturn lurking near your constellation. Sorry, pal, that cloudy sample isn't just gross, it's your death warrant. Picture it, a physician in flowing robes, standing outside with your flask, squinting at the moon while sniffing your pee. Medicine and mysticism colliding in one surreal ritual. For patients, this wasn't comedy, it was a terrifying prophecy. Your health, your fate, your very soul, decided by the unlucky combo of last night's ale and Jupiter's bad mood. The irony, by blending medicine and astrology, they made pee the ultimate cosmic messenger. But let's be real. If the planets had power over your bladder, medieval Europe must have been one long cosmic bladder infection when urine diagnosed witchcraft. Medieval Europe didn't just see urine as medical proof, it was courtroom evidence. Cloudy, foul-smelling, or strangely colored. Clearly the devil was involved. Physicians were sometimes called to testify in witch trials, waving flasks of urine as though they were holding a smoking gun. Pee became a mystical fingerprint, said to reveal curses, spells, or demonic possession. Your bladder, in other words, could get you or your unlucky neighbor burned at the stake. Some tests bordered on horror theater. Suspect a curse? Boil the accused person's urine with herbs and nails. If it bubbled strangely, guilty. Imagine the panic. Every twinge of kidney trouble, every bad brew of beer could make your urine look sinister. And once the flask was raised in court, good luck convincing anyone it wasn't witchcraft. The dark punchline? A chamber pot could literally decide your fate. Pee wasn't just embarrassing, it was incriminating. People lost their freedom, their homes, even their lives, all because of the color of their morning sample. In medieval justice, forget fingerprints or DNA. Your urine was the judge, jury, and executioner. The downfall of pee science. For centuries, the chamber pot reigned supreme, but slowly, the golden gospel began to lose its shine. By the late Middle Ages and into the Renaissance, new tools of medicine crept in: dissections of real human bodies, early microscopes, and eventually the discovery of germs. Suddenly, squinting at a flask of urine didn't look like science. It looked like quackery. The once revered macula became a symbol of medical charlatans, mocked in woodcuts and satirical plays. Pee doctors, once respected, were now punchlines. But here's the twist: urine never really left the medical stage. To this day, doctors rely on urine tests to catch infections, kidney problems, and yes, even diabetes. The big difference? We don't have to watch some medieval intern sipping it like bad ale. Machines do the dirty work, and the results actually make sense. So while the medieval pee prophets were hilariously wrong in execution, they weren't completely delusional. Urine does tell the body's secrets. They just lacked the science to read them. Instead of data, they relied on superstition, stars, and taste buds. So next time your doctor orders a urine test, remember, you're part of a tradition stretching back centuries. Only now, you don't need to watch a man in robes sniff, sip, and hold your sample under the stars. Medieval doctors believed pee told the whole story of the human body, and in a way, they weren't wrong. It just took centuries to separate science from superstition. Still, thank modern medicine for one simple blessing. Your urine test no longer comes with a taste test.